Welcome, friends, to week 4 of the Ultrahuman experiment. Today is my last day with the sensor. I've done 2 times 14 days of wearing the sensor around, and like I said, this is the last review of the product. On today's episode, we are going to cover how my last week went, what I learned, and we're also going to dive into some Q&A. I posted a question box on my Instagram and got some feedback from the community, and we'll be covering answer to some common questions. But before we dive in, I want to remind you that this is not a sponsored post. Ultrahuman is not paying me for this review, so you can trust that this is my honest opinion and experience of using the product. If you however, want to support me in doing more reviews like this in the future, then make sure that you use my affiliate link if you want to do this experiment yourself. But it's not obligatory. The link is below in the description if you want to use it and purchase the product. If not, thank you for watching. Number 2, I'm not a doctor. This is a review of a product that measures internal states in your body, and your body and my body, they're not the same. So please don't apply my learnings and apply them to yourself. Your body might actually respond differently. What you can use this video for is to kind of understand what you can get out of using a glucose monitor like this and how you can conduct your own research project. Number 3, this product is not meant to cure or heal or help with any type of eating disorders or troublesome relationship with food. So if you have tendencies for overeating, for anorexia, for any of the eating disorders, then make sure you seek a licensed professional and do not use this product to help you with that. I had it out on this journey with 4 very distinguished research questions in mind. I wanted to hack my productivity, I wanted to increase my performance in workouts, and I wanted to sort out a few issues that I had generally around nutrition and some questions that I had regarding how well I was responding to sugars in general. I genuinely am super impressed with how much I've learned and how much significant difference this makes in my life on a day-to-day basis. The outcome that I have experienced is actually better than I had hoped for, and I'm super stoked to kind of move on from these learnings and continue to apply it in my life. But I asked my followers on Instagram if they had any questions about glucose monitoring, and as complicated of a topic as this is, I got a few questions and I want to share the answers with you here today. Question number 1 was, what do I understand from my metabolic score and what should my ideal readings be pre-workout? So the metabolic score is a score that's used on the application. It ranges from a 0 to 100, and the metabolic score is an indicator of your overall metabolic health. This depends on both your glucose variability, which means the difference between your highs and low, your average glucose throughout that given 24-hour window, and then the time spent in your target metrics, which is between 70 and 110 milliliters of glucose per liter. I don't remember the measurement units. Don't hang me up on it. Anyways, there's a range. So it measures how long you stay in that range. Anywhere between 0 and 100, where 100 is the perfect score, is where you're going to be scored at. And what you can use this metric for is to evaluate and compare your days. So because it's within any 24-hour window, so if you're making any tweaks on your nutrition, you want to see if that impacts your overall metabolic score. You can also compare your day in and day out, and you can compare if you are actually getting better at stabilizing your blood sugar or you're getting worse, if the weekends are a little bit more off than the normal days, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of just like summarized glucose control in one number. What I want to highlight here is that glucose variability. So besides from your metabolic score, the application will also give you a number, which is glucose variability, which is given in a percentage. And you want to be kind of keeping that percentage below 12%. So you want to have less swings and roundabout fluctuations than 12%. That's considered to be a good level. When it comes to pre-workout readings, what you want to do is be within the zone of 70 to 110, which is the normal range before you start your workout. It's super normal that your blood sugar rises during exercise, and that's nothing to be alarmed about. That's just because your body releases more glucose into your bloodstream to help you with your physical activity. But what you want to think about is how you're going to bring that glucose down after the workout. I found what works best for me is to go for walks and then have a carb and protein rich snack relatively soon after my workout to kind of stabilize things once I've worked out. But to answer your question on where it should be before the workout, the answer is you should obviously have had some kind of nutrition, and then it should be within range before you start your workout. Question number 2 is, in order to lose weight, is it better to keep your blood sugar levels or glucose levels as low as possible? So, when it comes to weight loss and glucose levels, there's a couple of things we need to keep in mind here, okay? And without getting super nerdy and diving into the science too much, I wanna kind of bring your awareness that insulin is the hormone that that brings the glucose levels down in the bloodstream. So once you've had a meal, your body will produce more insulin to bring your blood sugar levels or blood glucose levels down. But what insulin also does is that it takes this sugar and transports it to your fat storage and inside your cells for storage for later, okay? So when you ask if it's better to keep your blood sugar levels as low as possible, the answer is not necessarily, because if you're keeping your blood sugar levels super low at all times, it may also mean that you're always storing away your sugars in fat. So what the goal isn't necessarily to keep the blood sugar level low at all times, because that might mean you're just producing too much insulin and you're just storing away too much. But what you want to be doing is keeping your blood sugar level balanced without any highs, because that means that you are kind of eating the right amount of food, so you're not storing away and you're more heading into your storage to release some of the stuff that you've already stored away earlier, okay? So the answer is no, it doesn't need to be low at all times, but you want to have less big swings in your blood sugar, and that is both going to help you with your hormone production to manage your weight, and it's also going to help you mentally because you're going to have less kind of like extreme hunger, fatigue, cravings, and so on and so forth, okay? So the answer is no, it doesn't need to be low. It needs to be within range and more balanced. Question number 3, is this a good advice to track if you suspect that you have borderline diabetes? And the answer is yes. This is the perfect tool, but you have to use it in combination with consulting with your doctor or a physician to help you kind of translate those readings so that you can better monitor and make adjustments in your diet to help you with that, okay? So let's say you get this sensor and you start seeing that you're either way too high or you have highs and lows and you can't really control it with your diet. You're going to have to consult with a physician, check with them how you can kind of move forward with this. I have shared earlier on the episode number 3 where I found some significant readings related to how I was eating, and these readings are not in a range where I need to control it with medication. I did chat to a doctor about it, but they are something that I can monitor and make some changes to through some dietary changes to make sure that I'm kind of staying within that range. But absolutely, it's a great device to try and to check if you suspect you have any tendencies for diabetes or any insulin production issues. Question number 4. Is it true that the data is off for the first and the last day of using its sensors? And I just want to tell you that each sensor, which looks like this, is valid for 14 days. And I didn't actually find out about this until I'd already applied the first sensor. But the answer is yes. The readings of the sensor, they are a little bit off, especially in the first day while it's calibrating. I did not notice any weird readings on the 14th day, but the fluctuations on day 1, they're kind of just off. But I found out that if you apply it in a fasted state early in the morning, then you can kind of get around those fluctuations on day 1. And I would definitely recommend that you try that. I'll be covering all of these kind of details regarding how to apply the sensor and so on in my training protocol. So in my testing protocol. So make sure to stay tuned if you wanna download that one. Question number 5, and probably the most important one, which is glucose monitoring helpful? And the answer to this is it depends. What are you trying to achieve? What is your outcome goal? What are you working on? And how do you define success? So these are all questions that you kind of have to have answered before you dive into glucose monitoring. You can, of course, be the exploring adventure and just get the sensor and start doing some readings. But if you don't know what you're trying to achieve, it's going to be an overwhelming amount of data. It's really important that you, before you get the sensor, reflect whether you have the time to, at every single day, multiple times a day, track your food, type in your workouts, type in your stressors, type in your activity, because that's the only way that you can get the most out of the application and the AI that it provides. If you just smack the sensor on and leave it there and check the applications every now and then, it's going to be really hard for you to make any significant changes to your diet, lifestyle, and all the rest of it if you don't have all the other supporting data, because the food obviously affects our blood glucose significantly, our workouts do, our stress do, our sleeping does. So you're gonna have to, during the duration of the time where you have the monitor, make sure you set aside some time to track everything. Before I headed out to this mission, I had these 4 research questions in mind, and I've been analyzing the data through the eyes of those research questions, asking myself, how can I improve this? How can I get this result? This seems to be a problem, continuing, so on and so forth. And I would definitely recommend that you kind of familiarize yourself with blood glucoses, do some reading on how the hormones influence each other. You can do that on the app. It has great resources to kind of cover your basic knowledge, but you're gonna get way, way, way more out of using the sensor if you do a little bit of homework in advance. And on that note, what is it not good for? It's really important to think about this sensor is not the best way for you to lose weight. Nope, because it's way, way, way too complicated. It gives you much, much, much too much data for you to kind of analyze and apply for your weight loss journey. Is it the best way for you to work on your nutrition? The answer is no, again, because you have to have the 5 staples of nutrition, and I share about that in one of my latest nutrition blogs, where you build the big rock foundation of your nutrition before you start tweaking. This blood glucose monitoring is almost like the 3 to 1% small buttons that you can fine tune on to get your ultimate highest level, but you have to make sure that you're doing the basics first: drinking water, eating protein, eating vegetables, whole grain food, and getting your sleep in. So if you don't have those things under check, you're not going to benefit a whole lot from using the blood glucose monitor. And on that note, I don't think at this point, after 30 days of using the sensor, I'm kind of happy to part with the sensor today. I have kind of figured out the way that I need to be eating around my current routine and workouts. And if I were to do this again, I would have to had either some significant changes in my workout routine, sleep schedule, work routine, or maybe something that would have happened within my internal state or hormone state. That could be either menopause, pregnancy, or anything like that. But without any significant changes, I've kind of figured out the way that I can continue eating from now after just 30 days of using the monitor. And I'm kind of happy to kind of just part with it and move on with my life. With that said, I'm 100% sure that I'm going to be applying these learnings. I know now how to keep my balanced blood sugar. I know how to react if I have too high or too low blood sugar. And I've kind of tweaked and turned the buttons that I can. And I'm super excited to continue reaping the rewards. If you found this interesting, make sure to like and subscribe. I will be sharing a testing protocol with you guys, so you can download that if you're thinking about joining the Ultrahuman team and hacking your own blood glucose. In this testing protocol, I'll be sharing with you all the tips and tricks on from the day that you apply the sensor, how to make sure that you've kind of covered your research questions, where to look for further research and all the rest. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.